All right, we're rolling through here on up to the second college football, the Red River Showdown coming up, Texas and Oklahoma. While both teams do have 2 losses, there's a little difference. Oklahoma just got trounced by 31 points. That was an embarrassing loss. But Texas, they've got 2 losses on the year, but by a combined 4 points. So they feel really good about things, which is annoying. Just kidding. We're welcomed by one half of the No Layups crew, my buddy Raheel Ramzanali, who breaks down all things college football, but he does keep a special attention to his horns. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, not much, man. It's been an interesting season so far. And like I looked up and I go, what? It's already here. OU week is already here. Usually they have a bye week before this game to get ready. And nope, not this year. We're rolling right into it. And the season is just rolling, it's just rolling around. And it's like, what? We're already, what is this? Why? Why are we here so fast?
So it's interesting because I look at Texas and I feel like this team's made progress, but then they make these mistakes. You're like, not saying that losing at Texas Tech is necessarily an embarrassing, but you feel like that they do so well against Alabama, then they take 2 steps back against Tech. Who is the real Texas team? Do you even know?
That's the $100 million question right now. Who is this team? Right, the Texas Tech game. You had the lead. You had that game in the bag. You went there. And it looked like getting your first road win in the Big 12, beating Texas Tech in their big Super Bowl because Texas will never be back over there. And, they're not going to sell out again. So you had that game. You lived up to the intensity of the crowd and ready to get out of there. And then you had the second half collapse. And we've seen this from the Longhorns, right? You see them play great for the first 2 quarters, 3 quarters, and then there's a collapse a la Alabama in the 4th quarter. And that is the thing that Sark needs to clean up. We've seen the stats from all the reporters that are covering the Longhorns team. All the losses, you see the Horns are taking care of business. They're doing what they need to, and then they have a collapse. So the real Horns right now this is a great team that starts off awesome, and they don't make the adjustments. And to see them hold on against West Virginia they came out strong. They held on to the lead, and they looked good the entire time was refreshing. But again, that's a West Virginia team that, they're not as good as an Alabama, of course. They might not be as good as Texas Tech. So now the real challenge is, can you hold up the entire 4 quarters against Oklahoma, something that you haven't done in previous games? And that's going to be a major test.
So a couple of weeks back, we would have thought, Texas is on the way down, Oklahoma's on the way up, and now Oklahoma's on the way down. Do you see this game as like Texas putting a beating on OU, or because of this rivalry, the nature of these games, you just never know what game you're going to get?
You just never know, right? Last year, remember, Horns come out, guns ablaze, and you're like, this is going to be a blowout, and they lose. And they gave up another major lead, right? So you just don't know in these rivalry games. And we won't know. Oklahoma is down right now. Maybe they turn things around with this win, right? And we'll see in the end of the season rankings who really, who is Oklahoma, who is Texas. But I wouldn't predict a blowout in this game just because of the rivalry. Now, Texas's defense has been much better this season. And you look at the losses, you look at the wins, they're doing a great job of holding teams under 27 points. I know against Texas Tech, they gave up 34, but that was because of the fumble, and that's overtime right there. So, you have to take that into account. But they've done a good job of holding teams to where they need to be, and the offense needs to live up to that. And we'll see what happens with OU.
Hey, so when we look at this team and what Quinn Ewers was able to do in a very small sample set, what can he do when healthy? Is that still a TBD? And what are you hearing about his health?
So the health, it looks like, it marks up to he should be playing against Oklahoma. And Hudson Card's been nice. He's done a good job of filling in and, making plays when needed. But he's not Quinn Ewers, right? That small sample size, Texas fans will always remember going up in that first quarter against Alabama, challenging that secondary, not afraid to throw against them. And just the ball looks so different in that second game compared to that first game of the season where it was his first action in almost 3 years. So the expectations for him are to continue that. And who knows if that'll be the case, but just having him back there changes everything, right? From a game planning perspective, from having more plays in the playbook that you can use, and just using those weapons that are on the outside. So I think he will play this weekend, and I think he's going to just pick up where he left off.
Raheel, I'm going to ask you a Texas A&M question. and I'm sure a joke is coming from your end, but I'll still ask it. Give me a reason to believe A&M can beat Bama this weekend.
Because you work there. Because I love Billy Lucci. I love David Nuno. I love your whole staff. That's probably the only reason.
Well,
I'm running low on reasons.
Well, I'm going to counter that because A&M has done it already. Okay, they did it a year ago. And I'm not saying that I'm predicting them to win at the moment. I'm not saying that at all because A&M hasn't figured out their offense yet. But they did find their offense in that game last year for some strange reason at Kyle Field. Different when you go to Tuscaloosa. I get it. And also because something about Bama, I know they looked great against Arkansas, even with like their fifth-string quarterback. It doesn't matter. But I came into the season thinking they weren't as good. Your Texas team played them to the brink, right, to the very end. So what did you see from this? Is this Bama team vulnerable or not?
I think it's very vulnerable. I don't think they're the best team in the nation by any stretch. They're not the same old Alabama, right, where they're just rolling and you've got redemption on the mind this year. They haven't looked that good. And I even, we talked after the Texas game, and you and I had different opinions on the offensive line for Alabama. I was watching them, like that close. I'm like, wow, these guys are huge. And they did a good job in the fourth quarter protecting Bryce Young, making sure there was no pressure from the Texas defense, something they didn't do in the first three quarters, and they really tightened up. Now, I haven't watched them as tightly since that game, I'll be honest with you, but I think they're a very beatable team, and I think A&M has the talent. They have the motivation now coming off the loss, and look, everyone's counting A&M out, and yeah, the confidence is there. Like, Alabama's not this untouchable Alabama. Right, they have openings that you can take advantage of, and that could be the battle cry there for Jimbo and company. And look, again, when you have a team against, you got their backs against the wall and nothing else, everyone's counting them out. I don't want to play that team, and we've seen A&M come back from those situations.
Yeah, hey, good stuff, Raheel. We appreciate it. I know it's a busy week for you. Thanks so much for joining us, man.
Absolutely, man. Good luck this weekend, and gosh, I love that Jimbo extension. One more extension.
See, I was going to let you go.
I had to get one shot in. Come on. I had to get one shot in.
Hey, you know what? What I love is that you guys go 5-7 and think, oh, Sark has figured it out. You're on track for that again, buddy. Why is this so awkward? Why is there awkward silence?
Oh, because you broke up. You got to say it one more time.
Oh, no, I'm not going to say it again. That's not how it works. My audience.
No. You literally broke up. I'm so sorry. Wait, come on. I got to hear this.
Raheel? I lost him.
No.
Where'd he go? Nick, what happened to Raheel? I don't hear him. I don't see him. I don't hear him. Oh, too bad. See you next time.
See ya.
Later, buddy.